Charlotte's here. Charlotte Flair, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. So what was so crazy is a few weeks before the show or before WrestleMania, I kept getting pictures of what AT&T Stadium looked like, and it was myself in the center of the stadium, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and then Undertaker, Triple H, Shane McMahon, Roman Reigns, and I was like, why are the fans editing this poster on AT&T Stadium of the women, the center, and the guys looked like eye candy? And then when I got there, I was like, oh, that's not like a fake edit. That's
real.
really us on the center. It was awesome. It was amazing. Highlight of my
stadium
career.
is ridiculous.
It is.
It's a ridiculous.
I do love that you become like on the forefront in the start because they're so. I mean, it's so easy to kind of fade in the background of like who your dad is, and you kind of ride the coattails of that.
Charlotte's
but you're,
dad?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'm
right.
just kidding.
Well, and I love you got your own thing going. But what was your childhood like? Like
Man, everyone asks us. My dad was just dad to me.
So if we call him dad, can we just say your dad's Ric Flair?
Ric Flair, right.
Because we haven't said that. So Ric Flair's your dad. Okay.
He's got that really cool new song out right now. I'm like, Dad, how are you?
My dad, Ric Flair.
Are you hanging out with Offset right now?
Yeah.
Like, is this?
That's
why are you cool?
Offset reference.
Like,
he said that you were going to do an album with Cardi B too, so we'll get into that later, right?
I'm not even getting into that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I played sports. He, do your homework, go to camp. Like, he was just dad. I didn't really realize that he was that famous or what he meant to wrestling until he retired in 2008.
But when you're
wrestling,
you're on the road a lot. So he was
gone a lot, but he took us with him.
Oh, okay,
like
so you
family
that's
vacation,
what I'm saying. So you were on
so
the
he'd
road.
go to work and then we'd be at the beach or wherever we went. But
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, he was just.
When
dad.
did you get into wrestling? What age was that?
So I started late. I was almost 28.
Oh, okay.
And it was because of my little brother. He wanted to be a professional wrestler, and I wanted to meet with him in Tampa in July of 2012. He never made it, but he's really who got me into wrestling, not my dad. Most people think my dad, but it's my brother. Because I didn't even watch wrestling growing up. I mean, I was like fan of my dad, but I wasn't, I didn't watch it religiously.
That's so interesting. I've heard so many stories from like the wrestling families. You grow up, you live it. It's just a part of you because you travel so much. But it sounds like it wasn't a part of your childhood. It sounds like it was.
No, I mean, I was
that
super
was like
into
dad's
sports.
job. Yeah, like it sounds like it wasn't this whole like thing that you were just living and breathing at all times, which is really interesting.
Yeah. So my dad and I wrote a dual biography together, Second Nature, that came out this past fall in September, and I just talk about how it's my journey, my unlikely journey to WWE, and then having my dad manage me, especially having two sons that never ended up continuing his legacy, and that it's crazy how it ended up this way. But I played volleyball in college.
You were a champion,
really
right? State
sports.
champion.
Yeah. So
yeah. Brett was a
I guess
I
this is
played
where I
volleyball
was
too.
meant to be all along.
Yeah. I think it's cool that I think for me when I see women come up in sports that are really male dominated like that, it's cool for the younger generation, like the girls to look up. Do you see a lot of that? Do you get a lot of that from your fans? Like,
That's why we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
There's a picture from WrestleMania 32 here at AT&T Stadium, and it's a little girl sitting front row, leaning over the rail, and it's just why women's wrestling is so important to have role models in a male-dominated world, knowing that they can, pretty much do anything. We've main evented pay-per-views. We've main evented Raw, SmackDown, first ever Elimination Chamber, Hell in a Cell, Royal Rumble. It's, the sky's the limit for us, and I think that's a huge positive message that we're known for our talent, not our looks.
That's super cool. But what is it like behind the scenes? Is it different being a woman backstage behind the scenes?
No.
Are you treated differently than the men?
No.
No?
Guys really respect us. I mean, we put in the time, the effort. We're on the road 265 plus days. It's not pretty. And
no matter what gender you are, it's not pretty.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gone. You work Christmas, you work Thanksgiving, you work holidays. When your friends are at a football game on Sunday, you're driving to the next town.
Yeah. This might be going down a rabbit hole too, but what is it? Where's the boundaries when it comes to women fighting men fighting women?
I don't think it's necessary. I think it's more creative when you have to come up with a better storyline for, the women's division. I mean, it's easy to put a female with a guy in a match and make it entertaining. Like, oh, the girl slaps the guy or the guy is hitting on her. I don't know, but I think it's more creative in just your same division.
So
I'm
is
not
that-
against it, but I think it's
So it
not
doesn't happen
necessary.
at all, right? Because I don't get to watch as much. So just totally being honest.
Well, we have the mixed match challenge right now
Right.
on Facebook that airs after SmackDown, and it's fun to have the dynamics, like, you know, having a tag partner that's the opposite sex, but there's no wrestling the
'cause
other.
I feel like that could be a really confusing message at some point in
for
there.
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
right. That's it's really interesting. I think that's so
Especially
cool.
being a PG company, it's not.
Yeah, it's a big family thing, and that's like, and like I said, I even just admit I don't watch wrestling as much as but when I growing up, I did. I loved it. I watched it with my dad and my brother. Like
Yeah.
it was a family thing, and that's what people go to do. And I think that's one of the coolest parts about it. Anything, whether it's a
There's
baseball
something
game
for
or-
everyone sitting there watching in the living room, whether it's the grandmother, the grandfather, or the daughter. That's what's so special about what we do.
You said you talked about like different regions holding like a different audience. You know, what is Texas a family city or state
Especially
and stuff
last
like
night
that?
in Austin, I'd say that was one of the best crowds we've had.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, tonight's probably going to be the same way. It's exciting.
It's exciting. Yeah, well, it's also Road to WrestleMania, so it's the most exciting time of year.
And WrestleMania's coming up April 7th, right?
Yeah, April 8th
April 8th.
in New Orleans.
Oh, in New Orleans.
Are we
Don't give me wrong information.
are we just on a path between you and Ronda going to be huge rivals? Where is that storyline going to take? Because everyone's excited that Ronda Rousey's now joined the WWE, obviously, and then you being the biggest female name in WWE. Is this something we're going to look forward to for years to come, I'm guessing?
I don't know what the future holds, and I think it's great that Ronda's here and her being a star and the outside eyes that are on us now and the attraction that she brings. But the easiest thing she'll do is sign a contract.
Oh,
And she'll have to put in the work.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not sure. I don't know if I don't think she's afraid of the work, but I think that's all. Do you have a
I don't
relationship
either.
with her at all yet, or no? Do you know her?
Yeah, I mean, she's been coming to the shows for the last couple years, and it's amazing to see what she did for women. I think her main eventing UFC is what opened the doors for us. So
That's a good point.
Cool, yeah.
also to see her wanting to be a part of what we've created is also exciting.
So cool,
And
yeah. You do. You've created its own culture, and even that's why people are here in the studio right now, because they want to come and say hello. And so I love it. We're excited for you. It's going to be exciting tonight. $20 tickets, right? Ticketmaster.
Yes.
You can still get them for tonight. And
the freaking belt's sitting right next to me. I'm gonna take that thing.
no, you're gonna take it from her? Yeah. All right, we're gonna
I don't know about that.
I'd like to see you try. That's awesome, Charlotte. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.